everyone, it's Aquila from a Lefty Knitter podcast, and this is episode 14. Today is Sunday, October 1st. It is officially Halloween season! I'm getting a bad glare on my glasses. Oh well. It's just how it's gonna be. I set my phone on a box, and I'm trying a shorter box, and I'm just not sure. Yeah, we'll try it. Let's see. Alright, so it has been about a month, which is the normal. Lots of things have went on. There was the Shenandoah Valley Fiber Festival, and I'm going to get into all that. And so let's just start off right away with this beautiful yarn here, which you guys have seen on the podcast, and this is Dog Star Knits. Jake is the dyer. And this is the Lucky Jenny Way colorway, which is the Lucky Jenny podcast. I have finished my socks. Yes, I have two. I only did the patterning on the front, and I'll tell you that in a minute. So here's where I was last time. I had not turned my heel yet, so I turned my heels, and then I finished the socks. I got them done. So these are the Slippery Slopes socks. Sorry, my notes are written all over. I used my Addy Turbos size US 1s and 64 stitches. Now this is not a exact pattern, really. Like, it gives you a formula for the one row. After that, you kind of do it how you want. I did my patterning only on the fronts of the socks, and I didn't do it obviously on the bottom of the foot. And in the pattern she tells you that you can pick however you want the rows to be. I did every 6th row patterning row. So there you go. Oh, and her name is, I apologize, Michele Brown is the designer. And I did a 2x2 rib. There we go. I have a finished pair of socks. I've tried them on. They're actually a little bit big. Like a little slouchy. I think they could have been probably a 60 stitch sock. But you never know with sock yarn if it's a thinner or a thicker, and I've never used his yarn before. It was lovely to work with, and I really liked it. But now I know when I get this yarn again, I can do a 60 stitch sock. So there you go. FO number 1. FO number 2 was on my queue list of knitting for future projects. But this was a crochet project, and I showed the pattern, or I talked about the pattern at least. I'm not quite sure if I showed it. I showed the yarn for it. And I've already finished it because crochet can be super fast and super awesome. So this was the yarn that I had shown. I bought 4 of these. These are Premier Sweet Roll. And I got them on clearance, and I thought my daughter Michele would love the colors, and she did. And it's been too hot to even wear this darn thing. So let me just jump in and say it is the Lost in Time shawl. And this is by Johanna Lindahl. Again, my notes all over because that's what I do. I used an eye hook, and I have, I can't remember the name of the set of hooks I have, but I love them. I've showed them on the podcast previously. And I really liked this. This is one of those patterns that's been kind of in the top 20 over and over and in social media. And I thought the idea of using a yarn that striped already was ideal because you don't have you have less ends to weave in. Although there are project pages on Ravelry that have a way to hide all your ends, because all your ends are going to be at the top of the triangle, and you're adding kind of like a crochet casing to the top, and it hides all your ends and you don't have to weave any of them in. I think I'm going to do that when I make myself one in a bunch of scrappy yarn that I have. So this yarn is an Aran weight. That is why I also used an eye. And here it is. Hi, monkey. Come this way a little bit and wave. Can you see yourself? Say hi. You have orange Oreo everywhere. Okay, go get cleaned up. Go get Dada to clean you up. See? Halloween, orange Oreos. Okay, back to the shawl. So, because I didn't have to change yarns, and it just changed color on its own, it's very awesome. It's very thick, it's very squidgy. I do not think I would use an Aran weight yarn again if I did this for myself. Obviously, I think I have a ton of like worsted weight scraps. Maybe I'll use those. It calls for tassels on the ends, and you're supposed to have one here. I didn't do one there. And I talked about this on Brooke's live 24-hour sweater along because of how big it is. And I'll just put it on because it's a monster, and it's going to be super cozy, don't get me wrong. See, you can't see where this ends, but it would be a crotch tassel. No one wants a crotch tassel, so the center tassel was omitted. The two end tassels are pretty nice because they hang at a good angle, or at a good length, and because of the weight, it actually holds the shawl down a little. I feel like it could have been a little more wide and a lot less deep, but that was probably because I chose an Aran weight yarn. Still okay, still gonna get worn, and it's beautiful. This is when these are the kinds of patterns in crochet that I think are really, really, really beautiful. I get very bored when it's just like a single crochet or a double crochet blanket or item like that. I just find it's not as pretty as the fabric that you get from knitting. Just my opinion. I don't down crochet. Obviously, you've seen plenty of crochet projects on my podcast. So I do highly recommend this pattern. I have a few criticisms in the way it was laid out and written in the layout, I guess, of the rows. So when she has her rows written out, like say it's row 1, and then it's kind of broke down in 3 lines. The first line is what you're doing on the first half, and then the second line is what you're doing in the center point, and the third line for that row is the other half, which should mirror the first side. And then she gives stitch counts, which is great because I had to use that a lot of times to make sure that I had the right number on each side. It is written a little confusing, I guess, too. It's not written in the normal way. I've seen lots of crochet patterns, but I was able to figure it out and follow it. That's really my biggest criticism. I don't think I found any of the numbers wrong. I'd have to look back through the pattern and I'll make notes. But my biggest criticism was with those 3 line items for the one row, she would do the first and second line item sometimes as one row and have the third line item by itself, or the first one by itself and the second and third together. And that got a little confusing because I was used to having, okay, this is what I'm doing on this side of the triangle, this is what goes at the center point, and then this is what is on the other side. So if she just did that extra not page break, but line break, I think it would just read a lot better. Just, again, my opinion. I forgot to mention, again, I'm Aquila, I live in Baltimore. I have a husband and 2 daughters, and where I was going with this, social media. You can find me on Instagram, and you can find me on Ravelry, both as aquilladahun. I will put it down here because it's kind of a different, not spelling, but has spaces. Whatever. There's a Ravelry group called A Lefty Knitter Podcast, so go ahead and go join it if you'd like. I haven't done any knit-alongs or crochet-alongs. I feel like there are so many. But if there's something somebody would want to suggest or do, let's do it. I'm down. I don't usually... There's some crochet-alongs and knit-alongs that I'm like, ooh, I really want to do that, and I'll do it. There's not too many that I'm like, oh, I'm on the bandwagon to do all these things. Not that I wouldn't be knitting what I want, because I could join the bandwagon and knit those things, because it might be something I want to knit anyway, but I might not want to knit it right then and there. And I think that's where, and I stress myself out with deadlines. I don't want to stress myself out. I try to live as stress-free as possible. I know that's hard, but, so those are my, that's where you can find me on social media. But Instagram, I love, because I just love seeing people's pictures. I love using the hashtags to find things. I love, on some people's pattern pages, they'll ask you to use a certain hashtag so they can find that, like, those projects. I just think that's awesome. It's that part of the media, like with this, with hashtagging your projects with knitting and crochet and spinning, and it's amazing. I can sit for hours and just click on the hashtag. Like, there was a hashtag not too long ago about fractal spinning or three-way fractal spinning. I can't remember what it was. And man, just looking at all the projects were so beautiful, and I was like hours deep into Instagram. So I'm going to now move into whips, and I do have an acquisitions segment because we went to the festival, and yeah, so we'll start there. Oh, my Frankie head. Maybe I'll talk about him later too. He's going to be a craft project. Okay, so I've shown these yarns, I believe. I definitely showed them on Instagram and Instagram stories, but I finally cast it on, and living in my David Bowie bag, which I love, is the So Faded by Andrea Mowry. My cat is going to jump. No, bud. Okay. The So Faded sweater by Andrea Mowry. I'm doing the cropped sleeves, but I'm not doing the cropped body because I have a little bit of a pouchy belly and I don't like it. So, bye cat. Go, 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 go. So, that's why I'm not doing the cropped body version. And let me I'll start with the first yarn that I used. This was Rising Tide Fiber Company, and they're local, and this was called Bird Watching, and it's this creamy base with light orange and some gray speckling. My second yarn is Marigold Jen, and this is her sock weight, 75-25, and this is called Jack. You know, like Jack-o'-lantern, I'm assuming. So, and now my third color. Sorry, child's awake, there's gonna be noise. Third color is, yarn is Nitty and Color. And this is called Cinder and Smoke, and it's her acoustic sock, and it's 80-20. And I have not started this color yet, which you'll see in just a moment.
No, you're not opening another bag.
Waiting for the crinkling to end. Crinkling. You're a mess, girly. Alright, so I cast on for the size 42. My gauge was pretty much on point, so I just used the same needles that she calls for in the pattern. And I did all her math that's in the pattern, and I realized I need to do about 7 inches of each color to make it the length I want. And so here is where I'm at. So I finished the fading of the first and second colors, and right after that I pretty much I put the sleeves on waist yarn, and now I'm knitting the second color. And so much noise. I will be doing the fade soon in my third color. I think I'm about 4 to 5 inches of the second color. And goodness gracious.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. So I'm really excited to start fading these two together, do the third color. I'm a little nervous about, well, not really nervous. I don't know how long my sleeves are going to end up being. I am not worrying right now about that, because sleeve length could be up here and I would be perfectly fine with that. I didn't weigh how much I have this left, but once I finish the second color and fade it with the third, I will probably weigh it, split it in two, and knit as far as possible with that color, then blend into what's left of this color, and we'll see how long my sleeves are from there. I know they're not going to match up, like if my arms are down, the striping probably won't match up, because I don't know if I'll want 7 inches of the second color in the sleeve before I don't know yet. It's all going to be just get the body done, then see how much I have left for sleeves, which I think will be fine. I didn't want I didn't want full length sleeves anyway. So, but I really love it. I love how the first two colors really blended. And I know the second two and three are not going to be as dramatic, but I'm okay with that, because I really like that it's almost like, what is that called? The cowl of a cow? Yeah, the yoke. That the yoke of the sweater is kind of a whole different color, but still blends well when you knit it in the fade. So that's where I'm at with this. I really was so excited to cast this on, and then I got super nervous because I wasn't sure how they were going to blend, even though I had made a swatch of the fade, and I really, really love the swatch. I just was really nervous about casting it on. I think it was just another fingering weight sweater when I just kind of finished one, and, well, not just finished one, but I really love it though. I'm really, really, really happy with it. So there's whip number 1. So I'm just gonna say I apologize for all the background noise you might hear. My neighbor has a bunch of kids over, and it's a really nice day out, like 68, 70 degrees, and they're all outside. You can probably hear that in the background. My cat has decided he wants to lay in his cat bed, which he never does, while I'm sitting here, and he's meowing. And my husband and daughter are just, we're a loud family. So apologize for any background noise. That's just crazy and nuts. And yes, you might have heard my daughter cough. She's getting over a head cold, so she's a little hot mess right now. We had her in the shower. We just let her play for like an hour this morning in the steam to get, like, you know, grossness out of the system, because yeah, okay, not you guys didn't need to know all that. Second whip, and I cast this on for the sole reason of going camping and car knitting. I love this yarn. I've owned it for Christmas will be a year I've had it, and I finally said I'm casting it on because I love it so much. This is Savvy Skeins, and this is her Sensible sock, and it's 400 yards, 80/20. and this is called Where the Sidewalk Ends. Now, I know you guys, well, some of you may know the books. They're like poem books. Shel Silverstein was the author. And I was a library helper in 4th and 5th grade, and I would sit in that section and just veg out with my nose in all of his books. And they were wonderful, and I still remember the cover of it. I actually now have an edition of it for my daughter, and I'm excited to start reading them with her. So, here's, oh, sorry, it's got like sticking out. Maybe that side will show. So, it's like gray and white and has all these pops of like hot pink magenta, and it's not quite teal, it's definitely blue in there. And now he's in the letterbox. Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm using my 9-inch circulars. I cast on 64 stitches. I did a 1x1 rib. And I'm making this up as I go. This is my beginning of round marker, so I know. These are every, really terrible, 16 stitches around. I have a marker, and then a beginning of the round marker. So what I decided to do, because I'm knitting these on my little 9-inch circulars, I thought a vanilla sock would be cool, but then I was like, oh, I want to do something. I don't want it to be completely vanilla. So I started with every 8th stitch I was purling, and then next round every 7th of 7 out of the 8 stitches. So it's, I'm not going to explain this well, but if that was like the 8th stitch I was purling, the 8th stitch I was purling. The next round I was purling the 7th stitch, counting to 8, purling the 7th stitch, and counting to 8 again. So it's still a repeat of 8, but every row I was purling then the 6th stitch and the 5th stitch of that section. That works. Of that section, I was purling the 7th stitch, the 6th stitch, the 5th stitch, and so on until I get down to 1, and then I go back up to 8. So when I do the second sock, I think what I'll do is I'll go start, the first stitch will be purl. Will that work? I want it to spin the opposite way. I want the spirals to go the opposite way. Yeah, I would just go the opposite way. So the first stitch I would purl, and then the 8th stitch. So I would go backwards. So, yeah. Yeah, I would go backwards. The 8th, 7th. Oh, I'm totally wrong. I did this one 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going this one. Oh man, this is bad. I'm just going to go the opposite direction so it spirals the opposite direction for the second sock. Or not, if I can't figure it out. Wow, that's really terrible. Oh man. I don't know what I'm going to do. For most heels, they want you to stop the patterning at the back of the heel, because I guess rubbing in the shoe. But I planned on just doing a tube, stopping at some point, and the foot of the sock being vanilla, because I don't know if I can figure out the maths on how to make the spiraling only go on the top of the foot. Wow. I haven't thought this through well enough. I thought I had. Either way, I'm going to probably just do a cut-in heel. I'm going to stop the spiraling. I'll probably just do a vanilla sock for the foot. I'll cut in the heel, and I'm going to use this for the toe. And this is... Wow, I feel so stupid right now. I know I can't pronounce this. And I looked it up how to pronounce it. And I believe it's a river from wherever she is a dyer. Pennsylvania? No, it's not. There it is, guys. This is her sock minis, 75.25. and 90 yards. So I thought this looked really pretty with this. So this will be toes and heels when I figure that out. Man, it was nice and easy sock knitting for the cuff. Oh well. So I still don't 100% love 9-inch circulars, but for on the go like this, I really don't mind them. I just can't be using these all the time because it'll cramp up my hands. But you can see that it's kind of micro striping and micro pooling. Yes. You got juice? What kind of juice? What flavor?
Cherry.
Cherry? Mm-hmm. Cherry. But it is doing a micro stripe, and the pooling is spiraling also, and it's really, really pretty neato. You can really see the micro striping there in the cuff. All right, enough about these since I obviously don't know what I'm talking about. Oops. So the third whip I have today to show you was also in my queue, and I knew I wanted to make this, and after... Open that! Oh my goodness, Mommy can't even get it open. There we go. You gonna go draw on your chalkboard? You need to move your chalkboard away from the wall. Can you do that? Hold on. Sorry, I had to help her pull her easel away from the wall because the chalkboard side was not accessible. So this was been in my queue not for a very long time, but the stash... It broken? It's just chalk. It's okay. It can break. Just be artistic. That's all I care. Just have fun with it. Okay, back to this. I've had one of the yarns in my stash for a long time. I bought a second colorway of the same yarn at Maryland Sheep and Wool this year because I wanted a second skein of it, and so I didn't know what I was going to make with it, and I love the yarn so much. And then this pattern was released, and I fell in love, and it was for the right weight of yarn, and I don't have color copies, guys, but Tupelo honey. And I am super excited. This is a giant shawl. I'm not sure yet about this fringe, but when you see my yarn and know what it is, it's gonna be the most squishy shawl ever. So I'm using whatever needle size she calls for. I think is a 9. It also calls for a DK weight yarn. And these yarns, I'll show you the label. This is Misty Mountain Farm Prime Alpaca, and it's a DK weight. And you get a lot of yardage. 665 yards, guys. 8 ounces. 8 ounces. And so one of the acquisitions I'm going to show is how I finally decided I need to cast this on, because now I can wind my yarn into a nice pretty cake, because my little ball winder would only do 4 ounces. So that label was for the black, and this is such nice yarn. I think it is what did I say? It is 100% natural alpaca. Yes. What are you doing? You drawing? Draw me some circles. So this is black. Ta-da! And then the other one I had in my arsenal is natural also, but it is plied 3-ply with 3 different natural yarns and browns. And this is beautiful. This thing is giant. Giant. Oh no. It broken. Yeah, go ask Dada, please. This is why I try to podcast when she's asleep. I've not gotten very far, and I believe I screwed up maybe the first section of the patterning. But it's got a honeycomb pattern after the first section that you get this honeycomb patterning. I don't even know if you can see it. So again, I'm not very far. This is it. But it is going to be the most awesome shawl and squishy ever. I love it. So there you go, guys. Tupelo honey. I did not say who wrote that one either. I am really terrible. Sweet Birch Designs. And if there's more information about the designer, I will put it on the screen. So that's all my finished objects and my works in progress. So I think we should go into, well, acquisitions is next, and then life stuff. Okay, so first I'll just say all my acquisitions were made at the Shenandoah Valley Fiber Festival. I got to meet Michele from A Tranquil Cottage, and I got to meet in person Evelyn from A Thistle Hollow. So you should go check out both of their podcasts. Michele lives very close. She's lives right on the Shenandoah River, I believe. And Evelyn made the trek out from where she lives. I think she's in Virginia, but it was still a decent drive out to Berryville, Virginia, which is where the festival was. And we met at 1 o'clock, and it was really nice to meet both of them in person. We had a long talk. We talked with other people, and everybody was doing lunch, and that was the one criticism or the one comment I made. If you come to Shenandoah, I suggest at least packing snacks, possibly packing your own lunch. There are food vendors. There's not many, first, that I think they need to up their game and get maybe another vendor or two. I know some people waited an hour in line for their food. That's a long time. And when you're hungry and you want to possibly just be shopping for yarn, that's a long time. So, that's the only, I love the festival. I love how quaint it is. I love that there are still huge vendors there that people want to shop at. And so I still highly recommend it. We did pack lots of snacks, and we did not eat any food from the regular food vendors. We got stuff from other places, but not like lunch. So we just kind of snacked our way through the day. Whatever. So my husband had been promising my daughter, my 2-year-old, because she loves soap. She's always talking about Dada soap. And so there was a soap vendor there, and we got, this is Oliver Acres, and they are in Stevens City, Virginia. They have a website. Here is their website. You can purchase probably online. And this one is mine. I am a huge fan of patchouli. I don't know why. My husband's gotten used to the fact that I love patchouli. But whatever. Her soap is already in the tub. I don't even remember what that one was. It might have just been like a vanilla or something. I'm not quite sure. My husband is a huge fan of lavender. And look at this cute wrapping. It's like not tissue paper, but maybe a fun wax paper, like a colored wax paper. So that's lavender, cedarwood and lavender, and then eucalyptus and peppermint. These are all for my husband. My 2-year-old will use them too, but yeah, all but the patchouli.
The patchouli is yours. The rest are for her.
I thought you. Oh, they're all for her. These are all for my 2-year-old. Never mind. I didn't realize that he bought them all for her because the lavender I just assumed was for him because he loves it. But it's, I don't know. Yeah, they're all goat's milk. So, and the wrapper's really cute. And so this should hold us off for a while until we need more. And then we can go online and order or get some maybe at the Alpaca Festival. I didn't pull my acquisitions over, and this is going to make for some terrible leaning. So let me just pull everything over. Oh, so when I met Michele from Tranquil Cottage, she had buttons galore, and she gave us these little bags and let us make bags of little buttons. And I have her, there's her card. So there you go. But how cute are these? Look at this tree with the 4 seasons in it. That's so cute. And then a handmade button. And a cute little sheep. And then I got, she said, oh, just take some buttons. So I got these 4 cute little flower buttons that are kind of like aqua. And then, of course, Hazel wanted to play with all the buttons. So she gave her a bag. And I did not let her go crazy. She got a little pink sheep. And she had her little bag. And that made her very happy. So thank you very much for that, Michele. So there's, that was, you know, kind of related to the podcaster meetup. So now let me go on to Turtle Made. I've used their yarn before. I've showed a shawl that had a glitter gradient or sparkle gradient yarn that I used with another solid yarn that I striped, and that was really fun. So I kind of bought another one. This one is not sparkle, but there you go. Turtle Made. This is 463 yards of fingering weight. This is 100% superwash merino, and it's called Monster Mash. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but then I bought this to go with it because she had a shawl there that had like a gradient with a solid. So this is merino nylon 75-25, 463 yards. And the name, this doesn't have a colorway name, but it is very goldenrod-y color-ish. That's probably more accurate. And while I was there, well, here's her card. Here, you guys can see that. I think it's her and her husband. They are also the people that 3D cut spindles. I was just watching a podcast the other day. I don't remember who it was, and they were using their Turtle Made spindle. Maybe Sunshine and Bubblegum? Maybe. But they had little Lolos. And I've never got to buy any. So I bought some little Lolos. And I bought Nag Champa. Again, I like that and patchouli. Cabana Boy, which smells kind of like, you know, suntan lotion. I love it. And then Vanilla Moon. So these are so cute. I've never, little Lolos. So I bought some of those, and I didn't go crazy. Well, I kind of went crazy. I don't know. I don't know what crazy is anymore. So then we were in one of the barns, and we were walking through, and this was not an actual, like, vendor that sells yarn normally. They are a processing and studio, Singleton Fiber and Processing Studio. And they're a mill. So when we walked by, they did have some yarn for sale. Not much. I'm not prepared. And I'm not even sure. This is Merino Corriedale, 100 yards, and it's definitely a thicker yarn, but it is like Maryland flag colors. So they had just had these and at the mill and spun them into this yarn. So the husband loved it, and I thought it was really cool also, but he's going to get some fingerless mitts out of these because it's pretty neat looking. It's really cool. I'm not sure how it's plied because it's, I don't know if you can see that. It's different. It's not, no, it's not that different. I guess it's, oh, it's a I get it. They plied the black and yellow together. And they plied the, if you can see that, white and red together. And then they plied the two plies together. That's how they made it look like this. That's pretty cool. I've never tried that technique. I've not tried much spinning because I haven't done a lot of spinning. That's pretty awesome. I like that. So that will be mitts for my husband. Flying Goat Farm. I know everybody's kind of heard of them. Also, they're pretty amazing. I thought I had a card for them, but I'm a big fat liar. I don't know. I thought I did. Here you go. Here's the Flying Goat Farm. And this is a sparkle base. I think you can see that. And this is fingering weight yarn, and this is called Colorway Jewel Tone. But I thought it looked kind of mermaidish. I think I'm going to make Hazel a vest out of this. I love their logo. It's so cute. I think it's going to be a vest for Hazel. I'm not sure yet, but I love it. And the sparkle is, it's super sparkly. Does it say how much is in it? No, it's just merino and Lurex, so I don't even know. It's super sparkly. Then I ran into this booth, and I thought this was pretty interesting. And I probably should look up more about them. Wool and Alpaca, Alford, A-L-F-O-R-D, Family Farms and Spinnery. I think they might be some sort of fiber mill too. These are wooden double pointed needles, and I use size 1s for most of my socks almost always. And little DPMs. I couldn't beat the price. They were selling these for $1. I bought 2. I'm gonna have them thrown in my project bags when I have socks in them, because these, like, say with this, when I get down to decreasing for the toe, it's gonna be, you can't really decrease for the toe on these. It gets really difficult on a little 9-inch circular. So I'll have a set of these in my bag, and I'll be able to decrease my toes. Done. $1! I wanted to go back and actually buy more, possibly as like giveaways or from my knitting friends as little extras. But I don't know what size people use normally for socks, for their socks. If they use 1s, 1.5s, 2s. So I didn't. But I bet you I could go on their website and buy some. Figure it out. Then I went to Bitsy Knits. Well, we were all over. And I've shopped in her booth prior to. And I just kind of bought some notions. I needed a new sticker for my car. So I got a new sticker. She always has stickers and buttons. So look for her to find fun stuff like that. Then I bought, because I don't own any of these. And these are like knitting essentials. They're the little, what do they call it? Coilless pear pins. And I don't have any of those, and everybody uses them, and I'm really excited to use them when I do my sleeves on my So Faded. But these were $2, and I think there's probably, 20 in there. I don't know if that's a great price, but I thought it was pretty good. And then I also don't have a row counter, and I know I can get these practically anywhere, but I bought this for $3, and I got 2 of them. So now I can just throw them in a project bag and have them for when I need them. I could use these for my sleeves when I do that, or use those. I don't know. So that was Bitsy Knits. And then I purchased from Wild Hair. I talked about them actually on the last podcast because I showed my circle weave, or my weave around that is by them. And so here's her Wild Hair Fiber Studio. And this is Pinnacle Fingering, and the colorway is called Eclipse. And I thought that was so cool. I'm pretty sure this is a 460 yards, 75-25 superwash merino. I'm pretty sure this is probably going to micro stripe. She had some samples, which I love when they have samples of their yarn knit up in the booth. I'm just going to take it apart because I can put it back together. Or possibly not. I don't know what I just did. Well, never mind. I think I'd have to cut the tag. But I think it's going to micro stripe. And I love that. I think micro striping and it'll spiral probably in the micro stripe. I think that's really cool looking. And then as I was standing there getting ready to pay for this, I saw this and fell in love for my stepdaughter because I think I want to make her another shawl, but in a fingering weight yarn. And I don't know if you're going to get color accuracy because it's in this bag. But this is also her Pinnacle Fingering, and this is the Autumn colorway. And it's really, really pretty. It's very autumnal. And other than that, we bought this shirt. It's not an indication of anything, guys, because I don't think we're going. But Ross Farms had this shirt. And Beastie Boys reference, I mean, come on. No sleep till Rhinebeck. The Ross Farm. And how cool is that? It's their tour shirt of all the festivals that they vend at. So Shenandoah is going to be, they were at Stitches, they were at all these other festivals, and Shenandoah is right here. The next one they're doing is Rhinebeck, and then they will have one more, the Southeastern Animal Fiber Festival in North Carolina. Oh, and then they'll have one last one in Florida. So they're all over, and I just thought it's a fiber tour shirt. It's really cool. I've spoke for a long time about acquisitions. Okay. We had a bonfire last night. John drank one of the grape-aritas, and I think that really did him in, because he don't drink sweet drinks ever. And he only had one, but I think it just threw his stomach off, like, terribly.
I spent my evening like the 21-year-old that thinks he's a badass and drinks a bunch and then spends the rest of the night hugging the porcelain throne. But my stomach just went sour, and it was sad because all of her guests had pretty much left by this time, and yeah.
I was stuck entertaining all of his friends, which was fine because it is what it is. But yeah, 1 o'clock in the morning though, I was really tired.
I was sleeping like an angel.
Yeah, you were. So I didn't talk about this last acquisition because you purchased it for me. Boom! A jumbo ball winder! That's how I got those pretty cakes with that alpaca yarn that I already showed. So it was an early Christmas present, and then I was like, but our anniversary's before that.
Yeah, that'll work.
So now it's an early anniversary present.
Yeah.
Yay!
Happy anniversary.
It works really, really well. It made a beautiful yarn cake out of yarn that I wouldn't have been able to wind on my small ball winder. So let's talk about life things. Life things. What have we been up to other than...
We went camping.
Well, yeah, because we went camping because we went to Shenandoah and we
got no sleep the entire weekend. It was awesome. If you ever camp in Harper's Ferry,
Harper's Ferry Campground.
Don't go there.
No, I mean...
We had fun, but
We
bring
did.
like headphones or
earplugs.
earplugs or something, because a train literally ran right over our heads.
Right, like there was the campsites that are on the river, which is on the, it wasn't the Shenandoah River, it was the Potomac. And that was pretty and beautiful, and then we looked out at the water all day, but right behind us is the road that is along all the campsites, and then it's a huge cliff wall that's maybe 30 feet, and then the train line right there.
Yeah, it was very
all
loud.
night long.
Yeah.
All night long. And
All night long. All night long. Oh, okay. So. I got hot last weekend, and I don't have any hair now. I don't recommend that. I look weird. I figured that I was gonna look like that badass dude from that Vikings TV show, or like Zach Galifianakis from The Hangover Part 2. And I think I got the Zach Galifianakis accidentally. So.
But back to the trains.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't.
Okay.
So we checked in. Well, John checked in for us, and the guy was like,
Oh, by the way, there's a train that runs near your campsite. You might not hear it all weekend. You might hear it 2 or 3 times throughout the weekend.
every hour.
All night long. And they were those big West Virginia coal trains, man, that went for like 3 miles forever.
Like for 8-9 minutes.
It was fun. It was
and
fun.
loud. And then there was the CSX train. No, the
Amtrak.
Amtrak
Good job,
trains. Yeah. The Amtrak trains. Those were quick though. But then there was the trains that didn't have anything in them, and they were really long, and they were super lightweight.
Squeaky.
So they go really, really, really fast, and it sounds like
Screeching.
It sounds like it's gonna come through your camper.
Like that. I've never done a
train
squeaky
noise?
train.
Oh, you should do the dolphin noise.
Impersonation. No, can't do that. Oh my god.
There was, we're jumping all around, but whatever. So the site was nice. We had great meals. We had a good time. Our neighbors on one side were really nice. Our neighbors on the other side, and I'm sorry, but at camping, usually everybody's really nice, and we've never encountered this, but they were very standoffish and wouldn't even say hi, and
No, turn their backs to us. They're like, those people aren't
they were
worth
those
knowing.
people. So, while we were at Shenandoah, though, the Hazel is getting to a fun age, and there was a bunch of little girls and a little boy, I guess. There was a boy, too. They must have been kids of the vendors, because they were all there all day, and they were hanging out. And so Hazel was kind of playing with them in the field, and this one girl, the oldest girl, just kind of stops and is like, I can make a dolphin noise.
Yeah.
And makes the dolphin, like, seriously, straight up, sounded like we were at the aquarium listening to the dolphins.
We tried on the ride home to do the dolphin noise, and tried again, and yeah, humans can't do that, so I'm pretty sure that girl is one of the people from the Men in Black movies that Tommy
She's
Lee
an alien?
and the Will Smith go after.
Yeah.
Like in pawn
It was
shops and
amazing.
stuff.
Like, when she made the noise, I had to double take and look around and be like, where did that come from?
Yeah.
I thought maybe, like, somebody was watching a video on YouTube.
I wish we could have bought that kid. That would have been awesome to have around for parties and such.
No. We could just
Apparently they didn't want to sell.
YouTube people doing dolphin noises. I'm sure there's got to be more than just that girl that can do it.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
But Shenandoah was nice. We didn't see the camel.
It wasn't there.
There was no camel.
I'm afraid it's passed on to
No.
camel heaven.
No, I don't think so. Stop.
You don't know that.
We don't know. I hope not. I want him to be dead.
So what else have we been doing?
You keep shaking everything.
We've been working.
Mm-hmm.
We've been going home. We've been working.
Making
again.
dinner, sleeping,
Yeah.
working, making dinner,
Yeah, but
sleeping.
it's finally spooky time. Happy October, folks.
Yay!
It's
Oh,
get your purples and your oranges and whatnot out.
I pointed to Frankie, but I didn't get to tell him what I was gonna do. Do you want to grab him and I can show people?
Absolutely not.
Oh well, I'm gonna paint Frankie to look like Ziggy Stardust. And he's not gonna stay out just for Halloween. He will be out all the time.
Yep.
Because we're crazy.
And he'll probably have a candle right about there, and his eyes will light up.
Although John did make a point, but I did Google it. He has the bolts here, but I thought the bolts were here.
Yeah.
But on Google Images, I saw bolts there on some of them, and I'm just like,
Well, you gotta do the bolt silver, man.
I don't know. I'm
You
not
got
sure.
to.
Yeah, okay. He's gonna be David Bowie as Ziggy Stardust as Frankenstein. He's gonna be Frankenstein.
Frankenstein.
As Ziggy.
He's Frankenstein, but he identifies as
Ziggy Stardust.
I'm pretty sure he could still use whatever bathroom he wants at Target, though. So that's cool.
And that's about it.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna go in there and be miserable the rest of the day.
Yeah. He took a nap while the baby napped, and I cleaned up outside.
Yeah.
I bought some LuLaRoe. And my girlfriend sells it, and
You bought more LuLaRoe than what you said you were leaving to buy. I'm pretty sure that's a common
It's Frankie
phrase.
and the bride. And then I got Hazel pear.
That wasn't on our. Oh my God, those are adorable as all hell. Oh,
And she can wear
damn
them
it.
with pink dresses or any t-shirt because it matches everything.
Yeah.
Yay. Okay, so knit happy.
Don't go chasing waterfalls.
It was good seeing everybody. Hit the like button. Subscribe. Whatever.
Peace.
Bye. Oh, that didn't work.
I don't know what to do with
What's
my
going
hands.
on?